So I've gone on record saying that I don't particularly like Ronnie Radke as a person that much, which to be fair, who does like Ronnie Radke unless you're like an edgy teenager that never outgrew your emo phase, or like some angry dude in his 30s that listens to Andrew Tate like he's the gospel. I didn't talk about Ronald because I thought it was stupid and just more of the same falling in reverse mumbo jumbo. Tech Nine's feature was okay, but in the grand scheme of things, it was an incredibly phoned in song. But I absolutely, for a multitude of reasons, need to go into that track a little bit, but specifically the brand new one that released, All My Life. And I want to go over this in the most productive way that I possibly can. I want to try to be reasonable, and if you disagree, if you enjoy these tracks, if you enjoy Ronnie as a person, more power to you. I just personally disagree with it. And what's funny is that's coming from someone that has liked a lot of modern falling in reverse stuff, so don't think that I'm coming from the perspective of someone that's just like, I hate Ronnie Radke and falling in reverse. I hate a lot of his politics. I hate a lot of where he's coming from. I think that he is very corny and cheesy, but he is a pretty talented lyricist, he is a talented vocalist, and in the grand scheme of things, he is very identifiable and unique, and I like a lot of Falling in Reverse's modern production, especially when stuff is focused. I like a lot of the other singles that came out for Popular Monster. But if Ronald proved one thing, and All My Life just sort of nailed that down even more so, it really just showed that Ronnie is stuck in this mindset that he is a martyr that everyone wants to cancel without realizing that people feel the way that they do about him because of his own antics. And I'm honestly just over his self-righteous martyrdom that he showcases in a lot of his songs. It was even present on like Watch the World Burn. And this is coming from someone that is adamantly anti-cancel culture and censorship, so take that as you will. I really didn't think we could go any further in terms of jerking yourself off for the sake of trying to seem holier than thou. Ronald really put that there, but this was the nail in the coffin, because All My Life is exactly more of the same and even then some. I know a lot of people musically are talking about how like he's completing side quests and he's going into country. This is probably one of the most boring and dime a dozen and just overall cringy country crossovers that you will ever hear in your entire life. I know that in the modern sphere you're seeing a lot of artists dabble in country stuff, whether you're talking about Beyonce or Post Malone, or how Lil Nas X brought a lot of country rap to the forefront, and even Jelly Roll, who is featured on this track, has a lot of really beautiful moments in some of his own music, which I will say Jelly Roll's inclusion here just feels so meh. Vocally, he's not at his peak. I think that he really constrains himself on this track, and there's really nothing stand out about his vocal performance or his feature. But before I even get into the reasons I think this track is so cringe, you know what's really funny is Ronnie loves to double down on the shit that people hate him for to begin with, and then wonders why he gets so much critique. You know, between like censoring all of the bad opinions of him back when he did that whole thing of like, I can choose where my music goes, which was just a whole fiasco and just really showed how insecure he is despite this very confident and machismo exterior that he tries to project onto the world through his Twitter, through his social media posts, through his music nowadays, filtering that through. He includes Blaire White pretty prominently throughout this entire track, which I'm someone that doesn't necessarily think that just because you feature someone it automatically means like you agree with them or anything, but considering that like Alex Terrible has had a lot of pretty interesting opinions that Ronnie might, you know, align with in some way, and considering you have, you know, Blaire White here, it just feels like Ronnie is not really understanding why people critique him in the fucking first place. Because when I first heard this track, the first thing that jumped out to me wasn't even like the Blaire White thing or how cringy the song was. It was the lyrics. Searching for my love in all the wrong places, word up on the street as I got a bad reputation, yeah, I made you blood, but that was true love. Get a stroke of bad luck everywhere I look. Every time I go right, everything goes wrong. And it's like, all my life I fucked up and I can't deny I'm doing my best to get it together. No, you aren't. You're doubling down on bigoted opinions on Twitter, including Blaire White in your videos, and adamantly attacking anyone who even borderline criticizes your music or who you are. You are talented, and no one denies that. No one denies the fact that you have a lot of talent lyrically, vocally, that sort of thing, and people even enjoy falling in reverse. But when you started to make your music so adamantly political on one side of the spectrum to the extreme, don't be surprised surprised when people are going to doggy pile on you a little bit, or not even doggy pile, but just talk about you productively and try to critique what you are doing. And especially when you shut that down, it makes you look even more immature, and it makes you look childish and like you cannot handle the slightest bit of pushback against your beliefs, against your morals. Because if you want to stand for what you want to stand for and include what you want to do and push your specific agenda and rhetoric, and you are so anti-cancel culture and you have it in your head that you have, you know, this persecuted victim mentality complex, you know, do you, boo. But if the whole thing is Ronnie consistently is making song after song after song talking about how the industry's against him and people are mean to him online and people talk about how he's such a bad person, it's like, you grew as a person. When Ronnie came back to Falling in Reverse after all of the legal stuff that happened and all of that sort of thing, people really fucked with a lot of the new Falling in Reverse music. And even though people were extremely critical of Ronnie, still, it wasn't until he started censoring people who critiqued him, and it wasn't until he went down this road of this victim mentality in his music where every single song had to center around the same exact fucking thing time and time again, about how you're literally like Jesus on the cross, and it's like, you're bringing this on yourself with what you are doing. You are not neutral, you are not some centrist, you are not someone that is just trying to be themselves. You are very clearly and apparently pandering to a specific demographic of people that adopt you and see you as this sort of pariah and this messiah in the music industry that is going against the grain. But in reality, you just pump out a lot of these political opinions and this mentality in your music that shows that you barely have a political outlook beyond a third grade level. And considering Alex Terrible has some allegations to him, I love Slaughter to Prevail, don't get me wrong, or just the dumpster fire can of worms that is Blaire White, I fucking hate her. She is one of the only people on the internet that I can safely say I just completely disavow pretty much from front to back. Going after so many groups on Twitter, stoking the flames politically, always sharing your opinion in such an infernic way, ranting and bitching about cancel culture, but then trying to actively go after reaction and review channels that don't align with the opinion you want to be spread about your music. You think Ronnie would realize that you kind of bring it upon yourself when you run your mouth. And it all being wrapped up in this just boring dime a dozen country crossover with a shitty ass breakdown at the end, really underwhelming verses, and these vocals that are somewhere in between just cringy ass 2000s pop punk and like Escape the Fate-ism, with an extremely underwhelming feature by Jelly Roll, a really phoned in music video, and Blaire White plastered around the whole thing. I don't know what to say. Bro's not beating the allegations. And I understand, Ronnie is a troll. He loves to poke and prod and pry. He loves to get reactions. He loves controversy. And no matter what he says online about how he doesn't like the negative attention, it is so clear that he feeds off of that, and anyone who watches him for more than 5 minutes could gather that. I just really hope he gets out of this fucking era, because if this is what he is giving on this new album, I don't think I'm gonna like it that much. What are your guys' opinions of this new Falling in Reverse track, All My Life? You can let me know down in the comment section below what your opinions are of it. Agree or disagree, there is no wrong answer. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is, my name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.